Yasmin, Qureshi was good.
Firstly, I think it's well accepted that working class children generally do less well in schools, in universities, and in later on professions as well. And of course, it's been recently that young boys are performing worse than young girls. And I think it's very concerning, especially, for example, at the young age. I think it's well known fact that if your linguistic skills are good, and if you start learning that at a very young age, then you will inevitably do far better at school and be able to perform and go on to universities or go into apprenticeship and get good jobs as well. And I want to talk about my constituency, which is very much a white working class constituency as well. And there are particular concerns that I have in my constituency in that 71% of children that's under the age of 5 achieve the expected standard of speech and language skills, well before the national average, which is 80%. There's also evidence of the significant gap between the boys and girls, which we're talking about, with the fact 65% of the boys are underachieving as opposed to 78% of the young girls. That is still a major gap between girls and boys. So it's likely that we're having this debate about the fact that we need to address the concerns of young boys as well. And in my particular constituency, very recently, 295-year-old boys in Bolton were already behind when they started school. And if they had performed as well as the girls, 109 more would have met the expected standard. So what we need to really address the question, I think everybody understands the problem, and I think everybody's aware of the issues. What is the way forward? How do we address these inadequacies, and how are we addressing these problems? One of the ways has been to have, in fact, more intervention in the early years. So not trying to make a party political point here, but the Sure Start Centres were a great ways of helping a lot of young children from working class background. And I think what we need to do is in the nurseries we should have a specialised early learning teachers, people who can impart the skills, people who can help young people. And I think also we need to spend real money in trying to work with families from which a lot of young people are coming from. So helping the family to educate their child within the ambit of the home as well. And therefore, I think some of the social issues that accompany this is also important. In that respect, I have some agreement with the Honourable Lady from Ealing Central about the issue about parents and parenting issues, which I think is also important too. And again, I want to reiterate what the Honourable Member from Mitcham Morden said. I entirely agree with her, and in some ways she could be quite easy talking about some parts of my constituency as well. So what I would ask the government is really that in this case we need some extra funding. We need the funding to be targeted funding, and that means in junior schools, in primary schools, in nurseries, but also actually helping families, the parents of these young people who've got difficulties and issues. And I think if we identify and target both on all aspects of it, we should hopefully be able to have young people, young boys and girls doing well and coming on to be able to achieve their full potential.